Okay, so most of us are really just getting our heads around 5G, right? But in the world of tech, the future is always being built, like, right now. Today, we're going to look at India's super ambitious plan to leapfrog into the next generation of connectivity, 6G. Let's dive in and see what that future actually looks like. Just think about this for a second. What if your internet was so powerful, so fast, it was practically instantaneous? We're talking about a surgeon in Delhi being able to operate on a patient in a remote village, or a whole classroom of students taking a virtual field trip to Mars. And look, this isn't some far-off science fiction dream. This is the world that 6G is promising to build. So how do we even get there? Well, first, we'll talk about why India is already planning its next huge digital leap, moving right past 5G. Then, we're going to decode what this 6G technology actually is and see how it could power the entire nation. After that, we'll get into the ambitious race to 2030, and finally, we have to weigh those incredible dreams against the very real hurdles that are in the way.
Yeah, I know. It totally feels like 5G just got here. And you're not wrong. The nationwide rollout is still happening as we speak. But that's the thing with technology, right? You're always building the next thing. And that is exactly what's happening right now, with India's top researchers and policymakers already laying the groundwork for the next wireless revolution.
So, if India is already deep into planning for this new revolution, it brings up a pretty big question. What on earth is 6G, and how is it really all that different from what we have today? At its core, 6G is, you guessed it, the sixth generation of wireless tech. But it's being designed to be something fundamentally different. It's not just about being faster, it's about being smarter. We're talking near-instant communication and a deep, seamless integration with AI to basically manage the network itself. To really get the scale of this upgrade, just look at this comparison. If you think 5G feels fast, 6G is expected to be up to 100 times faster. 100. And latency, that's just a fancy word for lag or delay. It drops from a few milliseconds, which is already fast, to virtually zero. That near-instant response time, that's the key. That's what unlocks incredible things like real-time remote surgery or fleets of self-driving cars that are all perfectly in sync. And to help you wrap your head around that speed, 6G could potentially hit 1 terabit per second. Get this, at that speed, you could download hundreds of full-length HD movies in just a few seconds. It's just a mind-boggling amount of data moving almost instantly. And this isn't all just about raw speed for our phones, not at all. 6G is being designed from the ground up to be better in other really important ways too. The goal is to bring reliable, super-fast internet to rural and remote areas, use AI to make the network run itself more efficiently, and do all of that with a real focus on being energy efficient and sustainable. Okay, so we've established this technology is incredibly powerful, but what does it actually do for people? This is where we move from the technical stuff to the real-world impact and really see what a 6G-powered India could look like. The transformation could be just massive. In healthcare, imagine AI-powered diagnostics and remote robotic surgery becoming totally normal and accessible. In agriculture, think precision farming guided by real-time data from drones and sensors. In education, fully immersive VR classrooms that can literally transport students anywhere. This technology has the potential to touch every single key sector of the Indian economy. So the potential is huge, no doubt about it. But how does India actually plan to get there? Well, that brings us to the race to 2030. Let's take a look at the strategic plan to make this whole vision a reality. The goal has been stated loud and clear. India isn't just content to be a customer of 6G tech that's developed somewhere else. Nope. The national ambition is to deploy 6G by 2030 and to position itself as a global leader in both creating and rolling out this next-gen tech. And there's a roadmap to make it happen. The current 5G rollout? That's step one. It's building the foundation. The next steps are all about launching pilot projects and test beds, which will be followed by a really intense period of R&D with amazing partners like the IITs and the Department of Telecommunications. All of it building towards that 2030 deployment target. And driving this whole roadmap are some really concrete government initiatives. You've got the National Digital Communications Policy, which is there to really push for innovation. The government is also actively encouraging teamwork between the big telecom giants, nimble startups, and academic institutions. And maybe most importantly, it's putting real money into the research and development that's absolutely essential to create this stuff. Of course, a vision this big, this ambitious, it's never going to be easy. Which brings us to our last section.
Let's get our feet back on the ground and take a realistic look at the challenges ahead. This breakdown really shows that it's not just one single problem. The biggest piece of the pie, a massive 40%, is just building the physical infrastructure. But you can see that cost, cybersecurity, and managing the radio frequencies, the spectrum that the signals travel on, they are all major hurdles we have to figure out how to overcome. And that infrastructure challenge, you really can't overstate it. We are not talking about a simple upgrade here. This requires a fundamental, nationwide build-out of new 6G-ready towers, a really dense web of fiber optic cables, and powerful new data centers. For a country with India's vast geography and diverse terrain, the level of investment needed is going to be truly massive. So, when you boil it all down, here's the bottom line. 6G technology has this incredible potential to finally bridge India's digital divide and act as a massive engine for economic growth. But, and it's a big but, turning that potential into reality depends completely on strategically tackling these very significant, very real challenges. The vision for a 6G-powered India is crystal clear, it's ambitious, and it's frankly pretty exciting. The roadmap is being drawn up. The real question that remains is whether the national resolve to invest, to innovate, and to execute will be strong enough to actually build it. That's what we'll all be watching for. Thanks for joining us.